Namaste. Greetings, all of you. Let this day be a blessed day for all of us. Namaste. In the last several days, we have been studying under the topic of anger and criticism the various ways why people get angry. Now, we'll try to talk about or study about the effects of anger under the same topic. Sutra of the day. Decision made in anger tends to be severe. Too much severity equals cruelty. Very simple sutra that has loads of information here. If I understand it correctly, friends, to avoid anger is not possible and may not be wise also, right? When somebody is given a situation which is difficult to handle and what you see in front of you is not as per what you like, the tendency to get angry is normal, right? If somebody says you should not get angry, that is not realistic. Now, the point is, what should you do after you get angry? That is what we have to focus on. Now, this sutra helps us in decoding that particular idea. When you're angry, the decisions that you make tends to be very severe, meaning the teacher is not telling you what you're doing is right or wrong. But when you're irritable and angry, you may not be able to see many details or many options to handle in the same situation because your mind is polarized on anger. So when somebody is irritable and angry, they are rude, rough, arrogant, and at that time the raw material, which is the thoughts, tend to be very severe. Obviously, if they're choosing a irritable, violent, severe raw material, severe thoughts, then the kind of actions they produce or the result they produce through their action can be very severe. Maybe the idea was correct, but the way it will be done will hurt many people. Maybe the intention to do that particular activity may also be nice and wise, but since a person involved in bringing out that action is angry, they tend to be very severe. When you're severe, you're not caring about many other people, right? Somebody cannot think about the welfare of other people because the heart chakra is smaller. So they tend to be irritable. And decisions made when you're irritable tends to be very severe. Now, this the teacher says too much severity equals cruelty. In other words, when somebody is cruel, they do not care about what will happen to people around them. So many people get affected by that, even though you are right from your viewpoint, but the action will have an effect of not bringing peace, but the opposite of peace, which is cruelty. Now, this sutra is very useful to handle our family members because sometimes when you get really upset, your children or your spouse or your family members or your co-workers in the office, um, you know, when your mood is terrible, upset, and not peaceful, the actions that you take will be very strict. So some of the decisions can be uh, ideally avoided. Some of the decisions, when it is taken out of anger, tend to hurt people, especially those who have been with the organization or with the family for a long time. You know, you may not even notice what are the good points they have done, and you may see only the mistakes. And if you're focused on looking through a microscope, the mistakes, it will look bigger. And especially when the person is angry, they can be very severe. That can hurt many people, including the person who has anger. Now think about it. This will give you a lot of solutions to handle your children and family members. Namaste. Wish you the very best. Have a good day.